WFUZ-TV, Coastal Alabama, Northwest Florida, the People's Voice.
Hi, welcome to the People's Voice podcast on WFUZ-TV. I'm Blair Castro, and I'm here with Thomas Jenkins. Today we have Jeff Bergosh in the studio. Mr. Bergosh is a former county commissioner and school board member in Escambia County, Florida, and I did some work for him when I was there, and I'm happy to have him here in Gulf Shores on our podcast today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Blair. Thank you for having me, Thomas. Happy to be here. Interested to talk about what you have going on. I know you're running for office now, so why don't you tell me how? I know you worked on a lot of campaigns. You helped me with my campaigns. How does it feel to actually be the one on the spot?
Feels weird. I don't know if I'm a big fan of it, to be honest. I really want to make a difference, and I actually tried to enlist people to run for this place in city council before I was like, I want to do it. I didn't really want to do it. I wanted to get someone else to do it. But nobody wanted to. Nobody wanted to step up. And then it was kind of like, oh, my goodness.
Now you got to do it.
Yes, it really was I'm compelled to do this because no one else will. And he helped and encouraged me. Otherwise, I don't think I would have had the wherewithal to just jump in it. Because as you know, like, you're not just running, your family's running. Oh. Everybody's running with you, and you're representing a voice of people. And I was like, oh, do I really want to be so public and out there? And, you know, some days it's good and some days it's bad, but overall it's great because whatever happens, happens. And I think we're winning regardless because we're getting more attention brought to the issues. We were being ignored, and we're totally not being ignored now. Now that we have this podcast and this vocal position, it's just growing into something I didn't ever think would be possible. And I'm really grateful for that. So.
Well, Thomas, why didn't you run?
Oh, well, obviously she's the commensurate professional, you know.
Well, she was trying to recruit you. You're obviously not a good recruiter.
Right, yeah, no, she brings the experience for sure. And it's funny because there's talkers and there's doers. It's amazing how many people will talk about the doers, but they will just sit there and do absolutely nothing. And that's what we've seen. And so here we are.
Oh, yeah, Thomas, I know about that. Well, the other thing about talkers and doers, Blair, you're going to find this out. People talk a good game when they find out you're going to run, they're going to be like, oh, I'll be there. I'm going to write a check. I'm going to help you. And then you call a female, avoid you like a debt collector.
That sounds like the music right now.
Yeah, so you got to have thick skin. So congratulations on doing it. I know, I went through 7 campaigns. I tell people, this is the way I tell it. I went through 7 campaigns and I won 6 of them. I'm 6-1. So like, if that's a racehorse, I'm going to vote on that. But it's ugly. It's brutal. And I hope that your race. First of all, when's your election?
August 26th. We are 33 or 34 days away.
Okay. How many opponents do you have?
Just one.
Just one. And is it ugly, or are you guys being respectful?
I don't think it's ugly, but you know who I've worked for. I've worked for some really ugly people in the past.
Well, now wait a minute.
Not you, other people. I've worked for a lot of people, and some of them got really nasty, and I have a very thick skin because of that. So to me, I think that's so nice. It's like a frolicking in a field. Like, it's very friendly. Have you
gone door to door? Have you knocked on doors?
Yes, and I'm starting and continuing that. That's obviously really important. I think that's what everything is going to hinge on. No good ideas out there. Let me do the walking. Yeah, that's important.
Well, I always found that meeting people door to door, going to their house and speaking with them face to face was very, very profound. You've got to be able to do it. I will give some credit to my opponent in my last election. He was able to probably go to a lot more houses than I was able to. And I think that helped him in his victory over me. But in my previous elections prior to that election, I was always able to go to thousands of houses. And Blair, I don't know how big your district is, but I would say you can't put a price on how important it is to go door to door and meet your star voters. And hopefully you've been doing that.
Yes. Well, we're at large here, so the whole city gets a vote.
Oh, really?
On every district. So it's the whole city.
All parties?
It's nonpartisan.
Yes. Okay.
All parties can vote, and we have 17,000 people here. Last election, it was 5 years ago because Alabama changed terms. So It's been 5 years since we've had an election, but a lot of people were not even challenged at all. The incumbent I'm running against has been there 25 years. If he gets elected again, it'll be 29 years.
Holy smokes.
So it's a very long time to be in office, and I'm not saying that's necessarily always bad. If no one's challenging you and you're doing a good job, then that's okay. But I really feel like there's an appetite for change, and I think people are honestly clamoring for change, especially in Baldwin County, seeing what I consider overdevelopment. Mm-hmm. There's just a lot going on here and we've talked a lot about this on our podcast, the development issues between Escambia and Baldwin. So as a former county commissioner of Escambia County, I'd love to hear what you think about how Baldwin County does. And we kind of want to share our experience going to the county commission in Baldwin and kind of just fill you in on it and see what you think.
Well, I know a former commissioner, Tucker Dorsey, very articulate, intelligent guy, and he was here for 8 years, and he was ousted by a no-growther. The problem, Blair, is the entire country is growing, and I was victimized by that. We have a land development code in Escambia County. I'm certain that you have one here. The developers know it inside out, backwards and forwards, better than the county personnel do, frankly. And they have a motive. They have a profit motive. And my head hits the pillow every night. I never did anything illegal, immoral, or anything. I followed the code. I tried to be fair to residents, and I tried to be fair to developers. The problem that you have is in this part of the Gulf Coast, in this part of the country, people want to live here. We have a good tax policy, in particular, Escambia County in Florida. We have no state sales tax. I know Alabama does, but we have the weather. We've got the Gulf Coast. We've got everything going on. People want to live here. So you have to remember our nation is growing and people are leaving the blue states, right? They're leaving the Chicagos and the New Yorks and the Californias. They're coming where they can afford a house, right? Where they can get a job that pays them, where they can afford to pay the bills. And so you're going to have growth. There's no way around it. Now, people would say, well, the infrastructure can't keep up. Well, you're not a traffic expert, right? And I can tell you, I've traveled all over the country. I work right now for a company that sends me all over the place. In this part of Northwest Florida, South Alabama, the traffic is not that bad. You drive through Dallas and get back to me. Go through San Antonio, Atlanta, Georgia, San Diego, Los Angeles, get back to me. It's actually not bad. Now, one thing that I tried to do, and this might assist you, is try to get concurrency, which is before developers can build, the infrastructure has to be looked at, the facilities, the public schools, the public services were all looked at. I could never get that over the hump. Impact fees, I thought was a little bit of a blunt instrument. I'd rather use a scalpel than the blunt instrument. But beyond that, you can't be a person that says no more cutting trees, no more building subdivisions when you live in a subdivision and your house is made out of wood. And I was very direct in my approach, and that's probably why I made a lot of enemies over 8 years on the commission. And sooner or later, the party is over, and they showed me the door. But look, man, I'm proud of everything that I did. And again, my head hits the pillow at night and I sleep like a baby. But you're going to have to make those choices, Blair, because, just because you get a gallery full of angry people who are on their fixed pension, they already got their nice little house and they got their nice little, but they don't want anyone else to move here. You cannot listen to the loud vocal minority. And sadly, a lot of boards, a lot of county commissions, a lot of city councils do. And that's to their detriment.
Well, I think it really depends on location. So I'm going to have to disagree with you on some of that because I think Baldwin County in particular, we're the 6th fastest growing county in the country. Mm-hmm. It is growing so fast. And you say infrastructure can't keep up. That's exactly what I say here. And it's true. I think that is actually true. And I would not say that for Escambia County.
How do you measure that though? How do you measure that?
We measure it with, for example, the utilities flickering today. There is times when the power goes out and it's not because the bill is unpaid. It's because the grid, it can only hold a certain capacity. Wow, and when there's a storm or there's a flare up, things just go down. The other day, it was like 436 people had their power go out for no reason. We had the water go out when I was in the middle of a shower because they're building that pedestrian bridge over here.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's just no warning or no nothing. And in terms of sewage as well, there's a lot of sewage issues. You talked about
the data infrastructure is super poor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have a 5G tower on that street right next to me. I still cannot use my cell phone.
Now, is that a public sector issue or is that the private sector that's dropped the ball?
Who do you even ask to find that out?
Well, I think you go, who's your provider? Is it AT&T or is it
AT&T?
And I don't want to say on this podcast.
Yeah.
I think it's no.
Right.
No, I got an AT&T phone, and I like to joke around. It's the highest bill and the worst service. Thank you.
Yes.
But I know there's a lot of competition. It's my own fault as a consumer. But back to the growth thing, Blair, and just to be fair to the citizens here, that to me, that's something that the county commission has to address. If there truly is a lack of infrastructure, a lack of public school capacity, issues with other things, then why are they allowing people to build? Because I think they get to say, don't they? Don't they have a countywide land development?
It's different here because we have our own city school that we pay for as a city. It's not a part of Baldwin County. Orange Beach and Gulf Shores in particular are separate from that. Okay. So that's really awesome. And it's I think what drew me here and one of our biggest assets, because when I lived at Escambia, was not, I know you're a former school board member, don't hate me. I was not a huge fan of public school for my child. I put my child through private school. My son went to public school, but my daughter, no, just because of their learning styles.
Sure.
And the way things were going. And I was just like, no, I don't think that's a good path for her. But it was very expensive. And I came here because the public schools were just outstanding for the city.
I've heard that.
Not in Baldwin County itself, but like in Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. So that is just incredible. But I wish that all the cities in Baldwin County could kind of play together in the sandbox a little better. I think that is a huge detriment, is that there's a lot of infighting within the county. And like you said, in the end, we were talking about hurricane evacuation plans the other day too, because somebody asked me about that. We have a county evacuation plan for that, and it extends to Fort Morgan and Gulf Shores and all the places here. So they say, what's your city plan? I feel like we should all be in alignment with the county plan. There's things like that where we all need to be working together in unison. And I don't necessarily think it happens all the time when it could. And that's another motivator. And like, you know, I do think our infrastructure can't keep up the development. I don't think development is evil. And I don't think it's, you can't stop it. That's true, because you have to balance private property rights. You can't just tell people you can't down zone, and you can't tell people like, no, you can't build here. Yes, they can if they have a right and they own it. But there are other times when there's no citizen input whatsoever. I will tell you a little bit about when we went to a county commission meeting and what happened and how that result is now, but how we kind of got involved in this. And you know me, I've been to a lot of commission meetings, city council meetings, worked at that stuff for years. So when I came here, and I will say to the credit of you guys in Escambia County, I never felt really unheard. I always, you know, you would reply to me, other people would reply to me, every single commissioner except for a couple. I had their phone number, and if I really needed something, I could call them. And I felt like you guys were all really accessible. When I came here, it was night and day.
They don't call me.
Absolutely. They ignored me. And the sheriff's office the same way. You know, my relationship with the sheriff over there is fantastic, and we've worked together for a long time. And when I came here, the sheriff's office was very unresponsive, and they actually told somebody, ignore her, she'll go away.
What?
Well, you know, look, running for office, Blair, I mean, my hat's off to you. And really, frankly, Thomas, to anyone who runs for office, you know, even people that I've run against, I mean, you know, you shake hands at the end and there it is. That's the end. But at least you have the guts to put your name in. And whether you win or whether you lose, I was fortunate to win 6 of my 7 contests, and very, very thankful to the citizens, as I'm sure you will be, win or lose. You know, you put your name out there. You put forward what you're going to do. You go see the people, and you let the chips fall. And sometimes it goes your way, Blair, and sometimes it doesn't. Have you done any polling? Do you know where you're at?
I have not done polling. My straw polls of like people I talk to really, and that's because I haven't really. We don't have the financial. It's a city council race, so I feel like it doesn't make a lot of sense to spend more than your salary. I've seen people like buy
Right.
a seat, and then you don't like. You're not getting a lot of money. This is not a full-time job. This is just something you're doing because you want to give back. It's not feasible to live off of that here. So I'm like, why spend? I really want to be frugal with it, and I want to honestly, I want to go in and doge the whole city budget here because there's so much stuff that I think really could be cutting. One thing, they're supposed to build a park over on the north side of town, and it got approved years ago, and they've never had the funding for it, even though it was approved. They had beautiful like mock-ups and plans, and we were kind of fed a pipe dream. They kept developing that, and for seniors and people that retire and live here, that park's important.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to do here for people that aren't tourists. So I feel like that really needs to be built. And I know it's pricey, but you approved it. You got people all excited about it, and you touted on your website as this thing that's going to happen for years that has never happened, or even like got to the cracking ground phase. So I would like to see that happen, and I know that money doesn't come from anywhere. You have to cut stuff, so that's the whole doging process. I do think there's things that we can cut, and that'll be another discussion for another time. And of course, I have to research and learn more, but whatever it takes, like that needs to happen, I think.
So the city of Orange Beach, do you have any idea roughly what the budget, like what's the annual budget, how many employees, things of that nature?
We had Mayor Tony on here last week, and he told us that number, and I can't remember.
Was it 28 million, or am I making things up?
I thought it was more than that.
Okay.
It's got to be more.
And are they funded through property tax? I'm assuming, like most municipalities, do they tack on a little over the top of the county's ad valorem levy?
I am pretty sure. And then they also have we get a lot of money from the hotel tax, like the lodging taxes and stuff.
All right. Well, you know, here's the thing. Here's the thing that I used to tell people, because everyone has wants, and there's never enough money to satisfy all the wants. And you know, you have to triage, and you have to sometimes tell people no, and they don't like that. Everyone wants everything, but they want their taxes to be low, and they want more services. And that was the problem that we ran into in Escambia County, and I'm sure you run into it here. But now you do have the benefit of tourism. The wharf, is that in Orange Beach?
That's Orange Beach.
Okay. So that probably kicks in.
But we have like the Hangout Fest here in Gulf Shores,
Yeah.
Send in My Boots Fest. We have, these two areas are incredibly they're tourist driven. That is what
absolutely.
makes this area, and it's growth because of that, which is great. And I don't think anybody doesn't want that to happen because it is necessary. But I think we still got to remember to make those events and everything happen. There's a whole service industry of normal people working here who are not retirees, who are like working people like me. And, you know, we have to be able to live and function and get from place to place without it just being a huge cumbersome thing.
Well, you know, it's funny you say that. I mean, obviously, we all welcome the tourists. I know I do. I live on Pensacola Beach, and it's you know, it's inconvenient at times for a couple of months a year, but overall, I mean, the amount of money that they generate, Thomas, the amount of money, and I'm sure over here at Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, it's the same story. It's worth it. But, you know, interestingly, you mentioned tourism, and we welcome tourism. Do you know there are other parts of the world where they are actively working against tourists? In Barcelona, Spain, for example, they don't want tourism. The people that live there are upset, and they are like, if you're a tourist in Barcelona, look this up, because I covered it on my show. They have this thing, they run around with water guns. They're squirting tourists, they're harassing tourists. Yeah, they don't want tourists. But Spain's prime minister is crying poor and is not funding NATO the full 5%. He's only funding 2%, but he's cutting his own throat, letting his citizens harass tourists. So we're lucky we have tourists.
Yeah.
I love the tourist business. Now, it's not a lifelong occupation job. Obviously, you have to have a diverse jobs base. You can't have a place built of just restaurants, bars, and you know, retail outlets. You have to have a diverse jobs base. But it's a great job for people getting through school. It's a great job maybe for some retirees who want to supplement their income. You're certainly not going to raise a family on it. And I'm not a guy who agrees with the $30 minimum wage for the burger flippers, right? Some people believe that's the answer, you know. But so what are you going to do for tourism in this area if you're elected?
I like that idea of shooting them with water guns. I'm kidding. That's not what I would do.
Do you not want tourists? Come
No,
on.
we need tourists to survive. We work hand in hand together. And it's funny because when I had my campaign launch event, I had it at a local restaurant / bar up there on Highway 59 near the beach. And we had tourists show up. And some of the tourists, we like had a, you know, Willie Kirkland Jr. He came and spoke and did a really wonderful introduction of me. And random people were coming off the street like, oh man, I really hope you win. Can I get more information? They lived in like California and other places. And it was so cool. And I was just like, the tourists are amazing. Like they're not hateful tourists that come here. They're people that love this area the same as we do. They don't call it home, but they wish they could though. So no, we definitely need them, and we need to make it so that all of us are working together. But I just don't want the residents to get lost is how I feel sometimes, because we cater to them more than residents with the current administration in some ways, not always. It's not a blanket statement. But I see a lot of room for improvement in terms of resident needs first. That's what I would like to see happen.
Well, now over here in Alabama, they do have a separate school board, or will you be responsible for schools as well in your position?
The city is responsible for the schools, but they have their own school board within the city, so it's not city council related. We just fund them.
Wow, okay, that's an interesting model. Yeah, it's way different than what we have over in Florida. Well, how are the public schools? Being a former public school, I'm still a public school fan, but I'm for school choice. I think parents should have the wide open ability to pick whatever school is best for their child and have the funding follow the child. And of course that's what made me so popular when I was on the school board. That's not a popular position.
I wouldn't imagine so.
No, yeah. A lot of the established bureaucrats in education, they don't like any kind of school choice. They want all the money to come to them, and even a school that doesn't perform for years and years, instead of fixing it, they just are allowing people to choice their children out. They just say, we need more resources and we need more money. But you know, that's a fallacy. It never works. The worst performing public schools in the United States of America are the most well-funded. Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Chicago public schools. And it's really, frankly, it's a product of their environment. Great communities make great public school districts. And, you know, to a lesser degree, obviously teachers get into the profession knowing they're not going to make money, but most of them realize that going in, and they love kids. And so I don't really necessarily blame the teachers. I hate the teachers union, but so on
I'm aware.
Yeah, I just can't stand them. I love teachers. My 10 years on the Escambia County School Board, I never let them beat up the teachers, because the teachers are the good guys, right? They're the ones. I mean, obviously any profession, whether you're talking about airline pilots, police officers, teachers, you're going to have a small percentage maybe are low performers, but by and large, teachers get in that business because they love kids and they want to do something good. They know they're not going to get rich at it, so you can't beat them up. And I tell people all the time, because we get beat up in Escambia County, they say, well, how come schools in Santa Rosa are so much better? You know, and I would always tell them this. I would say, if you switched every teacher in Santa Rosa County and switched them over to Escambia County and kept the same student population in each county, the results wouldn't change, right? It's all about the families and the parents, and we have several pockets of Escambia County. This is what I saw when I was in on the school board, where there's no parental responsibility, there's no one looking after the kids, single parent homes, a lot of poverty, a lot of generational social dysfunction, no one works, everyone's on entitlements. And guess what, when you have a neighborhood like that, your school is going to be a train wreck. That's just what happens. You're not going to buy your way out of it. It's just not going to happen. So what are the schools like over here?
I'll let Thomas give you his perspective of what it was like when we toured the middle school.
I've never seen such a model for a school. When we went over there, they were showing us that they build guitars, skateboards, airplanes.
Really?
They have, I think, do they have robotics over there as well?
Yes.
Robotics. They had a little outdoor amphitheater area in the courtyard for things and are still adding on. It's just the most impressive educational model I've ever seen for a public school or university or anything.
But it sounds like things are going well here. Obviously, that was a vote of confidence that I heard from you just now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, talking
That's
to them.
the middle school that was like that.
Yeah, and they were able to break away, and they had talented grant writers get them the funding that they needed to independently break away.
Wow.
And
What about the high school?
the high school is integrated into the middle school currently, and they just built a new school off on the Foley Beach Express,
Okay.
which has been another topic that we've kind of talked about. They put it out there, and I've from what we've talked to different people about, like it was definitely a necessary move. The school has grown, but the location of it, for me, the first thing that I thought of, or not the first thing that I thought of, it took months. When I saw the school and I'm going down the expressway, now they've got a deluxe hot dog stand right across the street.
Yeah.
So are we going to have kids trying to run across the Foley Beach Expressway? Are we going to school zone that major traffic area?
Yes.
And so that just raises a bunch of questions. And so was that really the strategic best place to put it? I don't know.
Yeah,
But
it looks weird, like it's on the island in the middle of it. How do they allow such a thing?
yeah,
That's a little bit
I didn't attend that meeting, unfortunately.
And the city, that's a city school that the city actually funds, but the traffic all going through Foley Beach Expressway, you have to work with Foley, you have to work with Orange Beach, and you have to work with Aldott. What does the city actually have in terms, we have one road going into the school, but like that's right on Foley Beach Expressway, so that's a lot of entities you got to get on the same page, especially when you're thinking about a school zone, the miles per hour that you're going to be allowed to drive there, what times, what days, when the buses are going, when the kids are all driving, because that's a high school. It's just a lot that I don't think was actually thought through properly. Maybe I'm wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope they've thought it through and everything's going to be wonderful. But
Does the city have a master plan, Blair? Have they? I mean, has it been well thought out, their development?
So they had a plan that was called Vision 2025, which just ended. So now they're trying to do a Vision 2035, like a 10-year plan. Some people think Vision 2025 didn't come out the way it was originally intended, and some people are, they're ready to move toward the next 10-year plan. But I agree that master plans are really important.
Yeah. Well, they're going to be very expensive components of what you do. What about your law enforcement? Is that a separate funding line, or does the city have its own standing police force?
City has its own standing police force, Gulf Shores PD, and Thomas is a former law enforcement officer from a small town, and he's smaller than here, but we still kind of have what I call a small town police force here. It's not massive, but they do a great job. What I would like to see, and what I wrote, and my experience from working in Escambia County with the Sheriff's Office and the Sheriff's Foundation, and closely, I really care about cybercrime and cybersecurity, as I think a lot of people do.
It's a big deal. It's huge.
They don't really have the technology. When we went to them for an issue involving a crazy online stalker person who was making death threats, they weren't able to even research the number or do a back check or anything because they didn't have the software for it.
Oh, Lord.
And then when you go to Escambia, they do it right then and there.
Yeah, that's
What they did was weeks later, a detective called me and literally regurgitated the info that I gave the initial reporting officer, and they said, just want you to know that we're doing our part.
And you're like, wait, what's new in this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
just
was
literally,
nothing new.
yeah, I gave them the location and the name, and they just literally regurgitated it to me weeks later as if they had done something. And it did not give me a sense of ease.
Wow. Well, I mean, that's something that you could, Blair, that could be part of your campaign platform. We're going to modernize the police force. And do you know about roughly how big the police force is? Well, first of all, let's if you don't mind, I'll just take over as the host. Thank you. How big is the city of Gulf Shores?
17,000 people, and it's 31 square miles.
31 square miles, okay, 17,000 people. And so roughly, now, what about the jail? Is the jail, I'm assuming, run by the county? That's how.
Is that the new jail
So they are
being built
building
currently?
a new justice center, and it is going to open next year, I think. It's opening soon. They really needed this because the police center, like the headquarters over there, looks awful, and they have a little jail. But there is a city justice center with like a little courtroom, a jail, and
Really? Okay.
the police headquarters, and that will be new and open and much needed. So there is that, and I want to say less than around 200, little less police officers on the city PD side.
That's rather stout, frankly. Yeah,
Maybe I'm wrong. I'll have to look.
Yeah.
Maybe that was Orange Beach because I did look this up at one point.
Okay.
And something interesting, and I hope I'm wrong about this too.
Yeah.
I looked for the annual reports for the police, and I found Orange Beaches, and the most recent one I found for Gulf Shores was 2021.
Okay. Well, look, you can always edit these parts out, right?
Yeah.
Right, Thomas? You're
Right.
going to edit this
Yes.
stuff out. But I wish you the best of luck. You know, I enjoyed my time serving, and you know, if you're so fortunate to be elected, I know that you will too, because you'll get beat up a lot. You'll develop very thick skin like an alligator, and you'll take a lot of beatings, but you'll meet people that really appreciate what you've done. You'll meet people, and you'll be able to help solve important problems. When I was on the school board, and I could help a parent navigate a tough issue, a discipline problem, a bully, I always felt like I really earned my paycheck, man, and I felt really satisfaction. Same thing on the county commission. Same thing for you as a city councilman. You can fix that drainage issue. You can help someone get that road project funded, sidewalks if necessary. You can interface with the schools, and doing that is the payoff. That's the payoff, you know. So I really wish you luck in that. And if there's been an incumbent there 25 years, there's one of two things. It just has to be one of two things. Obviously, things are going really well, or you've got very apathetic voters who don't really pay attention and don't know what's going on. It's got to be one of the two.
So it's funny that you mentioned that. Last election, which was 5 years ago, 2,600 people voted out of 17,000 registered voter residents.
I have to say, that sounds about right. What is that, about 15, 16%? Yeah, I mean, it's a sad commentary, but, you know, the last election I was involved in was, I want to say, barely, you know, a third of the people voted. You know, 66% of the people stayed home. The election before that in 2020, of course, COVID was a factor, but it was even worse. It was abysmal, like a 25%. So, you know, when you're in an off-cycle election, which it sounds to me like you will be, people just don't get out and vote. That's why you have to really know who the star voters are, and you really got to market to them and really make sure, because you know they're going to show up.
And
you gotta win
interesting within that statistic, there was only about 200 or so people under the age of 40 of that 2,600. So that is a huge apathetic, younger people, millennials and younger. It's mostly the retirees and people that have been here a long time who
They're
are
the
kind of
ones who vote.
voting with their friends and the status quo and the people who have been here forever because that's what they know.
Mm-hmm.
But we started this whole podcast and wanted to get people engaged and wanted to help, you know, increase those numbers. It's not going to happen overnight. As you know, those things are really long-term goals.
Absolutely.
But I just think that's completely unacceptable. There's no reason people, you know, that are 40-ish or younger should just not care.
Yeah, it's very sad, but Blair, I saw the same pattern in Escambia County. You know, in a large part, it's typically your senior citizens and folks that are over 50 that really participate in the off-cycle elections. Now, the general elections, when people are excited about, you know, the presidential election or maybe a gubernatorial election, yeah, you'll get a lot more participation, you get a lot more people coming out. But but a low turnout election like 17%, like what you're talking about, you have got to get to the star voters and you've got to make an impression with them, because even the young people will say, "Oh yeah, I got you, I'll vote." They just don't. Statistically, they don't. You know, and that's just a reality. So what else are we talking about, Blair?
Oh, I'm going to let Thomas tell you a little bit. We'll kind of walk you through what our experience was when we first went to our first county commission meeting here in Baldwin County.
Okay.
And how we are now. So take it away.
Let's hear it.
Well, I guess I should preface it by why we went in the first place. So I was trying to file a protective order against someone, and when I went in there, I was just met with complete apathy, nonchalance, whatever you want to call it. I had a nice 60-page packet of evidence.
Okay.
I had to push it at them for them to take it across the desk. They did not review my papers. I had to call hours later to check and see if everything went through, and they say, "You're missing a page, you're going to have to come back."
What?
Coming back means driving to Bay Minette, which is an hour away.
So that's where our clerk of court is.
That was
Minette.
that was strike one. So
Oh my God.
then I had to, so I said, push it through. pretty not very nice.
Yeah.
Because it's a redundant piece of paper, push it through, because they were like, we need your address. I was like, you scanned my driver's license.
Right. So you're not happy. Please, come on.
Yeah, and so the judge pushed it through and, granted. But then I had to go to, was it Foley or Fairhope?
Fairhope.
I had to go to Fairhope to get a printed copy of it. They hand it to me. I can't read it. It looks like double printed. And they said, oh, yeah, that was the new girl. I don't give a shit. That's not, give me a piece of paper that I can read. So I drove all the way back up to Bay Minette.
Ooh.
And I said, make it again.
Good for you.
And
you shouldn't have had to do that.
And they couldn't. They couldn't do it that day. And then I got that's when I got really mad. And then I was face to face with the actual court clerk, and she was telling me how rude I was because I was, raising my voice. And I was like, it's not illegal to be mad. And so after that, I was like, so that night I said, I'm going to the next commission meeting, and the lady was like, okay. And because it was the next morning at 10 a.m., she didn't think I would have the gumption to find out. Oh, hell yeah. We burst in there. I have a broken tailbone, so I did not sit. I stood in the corner, and I have to stretch a lot, so I look like I'm getting ready for an MMA match in the back. The entire dais is just looking over like, who is this guy?
Yeah, is he about to come jump us?
Yeah, right. And then they're like, any public commentary? And they called my name, and I knew they were going to start a timer, so I started talking as soon as I started approaching the dais from the back of the room so I could get every word in. Handed them the piece of paper, started in, and then I just gave them my synopsis. Mm-hmm. I called Orange Beach to get a report. All I could get was a redacted report. I had to drive up there after asking for it in an email. They laughed at the name of my email address, which is fuzzyfiddler at gmail.com.
It's kind of cool, actually.
Thank you. And I actually do charity work for veterans and law enforcement under that name. So I kind of took it personal. And then there was the Gulf Shores. They couldn't track down my stalker that said they were going to shoot me in the face over the phone.
Oh, my Lord.
And then this PFA that you couldn't read. So strike 3, you're out and going to the commission meeting. So,
how did that turn out? Did they give you 3 minutes to speak at public?
Yes.
Yes, and my favorite part of that was right as it was going, doop, 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 I said, that's my 3 minutes. Y'all have a better day.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that. Well, Thomas, that's what you have found is that's the solution. That is your best strategy. If you're going nowhere, no matter what the government is, it could be the school board, it could be the city council, it could be the clerk of the court, it could be the county commission. You get 5, 8, 10 people. I've seen it. I've seen it when I was a school board member. I've seen it as a county commissioner. I know it happens at the Pensacola City Council. I'm certain it happens over here in Orange Beach and Gulf Shores. You bring 5, 8, 10 people to a meeting consistently on the same message.
Yeah.
It's going to get through, because if not, then the press picks it up. Let me ask you guys about this area. The press in this area, is this a news journal, or is there is it a Mobile Press Register? What's your daily newspaper, or do you have one?
It was severely lacking. We have WKRG, which is out of Mobile,
right.
And that's kind of like the major news, like our WEAR.
Sure.
But no, there's nothing. There's a couple little publications. Yes.
They have field offices in like Foley, but and that was another reason we started this, because we were like, there's not a whole lot of media coverage for the happenings down here, so we saw the niche and
there could be a business opportunity for you guys, because
Absolutely.
William Reynolds runs north of Escambia. You're familiar with north of Escambia. In the northern part of Escambia County, same thing, very rural. No one really was paying attention. He started his own thing. He's got a dynasty up there, and perhaps I don't know what you would call it. What would you call this? What is this? I mean, geographically, what
South
is it?
Baldwin County.
South Baldwin.
Yeah.
So southbaldwin.com. There you go.
We started a Baldwin Citizens Watch because we were having issues, kind of like a scam system. Where we started one here.
Don't make it like that.
No, it's not. It's not like that.
No,
it is.
that's
we try
a
to
site.
be very
Horrible people.
informative,
Horrible, terrible people,
and non-biased. We actually do a good job. We have our, everyone's welcome, even people that don't agree, and we don't like them. It's not like that.
It's not like that. In other words, they don't kick you off when you disagree and like attack people with lies and slander and libel. Oh yeah, that's right.
We don't do that, but we do advocate for information. Like, here's the planning meetings, here's the zoning meetings. You can have different opinions. I've never blocked anyone, really. I don't think we've had to block anybody. And people want to know this stuff. And there's no central repository for this kind of information. And when I had my little slice of time at the county commission meeting, I talked about how they are behind digitally.
Right.
And I know you probably know this, but I helped, with different websites at the sheriff's office, at the county. I helped with the homeless dashboard with Elizabeth Kissel, getting that all set up. I helped with the Achieve Escambia dashboard. That's how we've actually first met, was when I worked for Achieve Escambia. I did all their communications and helped their annual report and the data dashboard. So there's no real place in Baldwin County that has that kind of statistical data dashboard, interactive information where we can get real-time stats for stuff. There's no portal to upload different documents, making us drive an hour to Bay Minette or Robertsdale or whatever else, because all the different satellite offices like that, they wouldn't even let you do that during COVID. It should be like it was during COVID, where we can digitize some of this. It's frustrating that that's even a thing. So I talked about that, and kind of like, I even offered to help them. And people were like, you guys tried to do good cop, bad cop, or whatever, with me being the good cop and him being the bad cop.
You're the bad cop?
Most of the time.
But we both really wanted the same outcome, and that was just to be heard and to offer better solutions and to let them know that there's deficiencies. And we don't think we know everything, and we're not here to reinvent the wheel or tell people, well, we did it this way in Pensacola. But that's what the impression I got. So funny thing, after that county commission meeting, they ignored us for a long time, but I kept after it in terms of tagging them and being like, hey, what's going on? And one of the commissioners, who was the chairman at the time when we went there, ended up coming to do the podcast with us. I want to say a week or two ago. We ended up getting on good terms with him. He's running for sheriff, actually. He's a former Marine and state trooper.
Oh, wow, okay. So I saw his signs. What's his name? Leslie Nelson or...
Leslie Nielsen, yeah.
No, I saw a sign. I can't remember what it was.
Matt McKenzie.
McKenzie, yeah. He's running for sheriff.
It's definitely not Hoss Mack.
No, it is not.
I still think that's the
And
coolest.
it's not Naked Gun.
We were talking the other day about, it's funny that some of the elected officials, the names, it feels like we're in a movie. Like there's, you got Skip and Chip and Hoss and Tater and all these like southern names.
Yeah, you got
down
Tater,
here.
he's going to win.
Yeah.
It's funny. I didn't know anything about politics in Baldwin. It's a true story. This was many years ago, maybe 2010, 11. And I saw the big yellow sign that said Hoss Mack for sheriff. I said, that guy's going to win because he's got the coolest name. Was he a good sheriff? I don't even know. Was he a good sheriff? I don't know. How would
Those
I
are
know?
things we can't talk about on the
I was not here during that
oops.
time.
That sounds like I stepped in something. All right. Well, I just know this. He had a cool campaign name.
All the people here have a cool campaign name. It's kind of weird. I was like, man, what kind of stage name do I need? I need like a good little nickname there.
Change it and just make up a new name. Blair, yeah, here, I'll help you with that. I'll come up with something.
Yeah, you're good at stage names.
Yeah,
And names.
yes, that'll be a story for another episode. Right? Yeah, well, that sounds like a lot of fun. Well, good luck in the election. I know things are different here, but it sounds to me, taking everything from this conversation, that there's a market here for what you're doing. I mean, obviously, if there's not a daily newspaper or a dedicated reporter, because WKRG, they're mobile. I mean, obviously they're going to do a little. They're going to do a little portion here and there, but maybe you guys can fill the niche. Maybe you can fill it with this, or maybe an online website. Interesting.
We are in the process of launching all of that, and we hope to do that. And if you would like to support us out there, we have links to different merch and different ways you can help and sponsor WFUZ-TV as a channel as a whole and everything that we're doing. And know that everything that we do is connected to the Fuzzy Fiddler mission of Thomas's brand and company in helping law enforcement, first responders, and veterans deal with PTSD. And everything we do, we kind of try to give back to that mission, and we're mission and faith-based, so we're doing
And also
this.
boots on the ground disaster response as well.
Yes. Disaster response, addiction recovery, anything like that we can help. A lot of our stories on this channel have been based on different government deficiencies and helping people who have been, loss of a loved one, different issues with their children, different issues with addiction, and we really try to help and give a voice to people that feel like they didn't have a voice, because that's kind of how we felt at different times.
Wow.
So
that's a lot. That's
it
a
is.
lot. Well, for my part, I mean, I am a talk show host now. That's what I do. Obviously, I have a full-time job with ESA South, but I am on WPNN 103.7 FM, which, by the way, I was listening to the Michael Berry show on my way here, and the signal goes all the way, so I do the 6 to 8 a.m. shift on WPNN, which is FM 103.7 and 790 on the AM dial or on the WPNN app, and would love to invite you guys to come on the show one time.
I would love to.
The signal goes out over here, so if you'd like to come talk about your mission and your campaign, I would love to have you.
that'd be
Thank you
awesome.
so much. Yeah, for sure.
And you can drive the hour.
Yeah.
We would do it. It's worth the drive.
Yeah, for sure.
Thomas, great meeting.
Great to meet you.
Yeah, man. Blair,
Thank you, guys.
as always. And now, after the show, you got to show me how to set all this stuff up because I want to do this on my show now.
Yes, we will. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and you can tell people where they can follow you and view your show. Besides, you just gave the radio, but
yeah, or you can go to jeffbergosh.com, and every day on my blog I put the day's podcast, and every week on Mondays we have Sheriff Chip Simmons, the Escambia County Sheriff. Every Wednesday we have Rick Outson, who runs 2 independent news outlets in Escambia County. We do a thorough local news information session, and then through the rest of the week we talk local, national, international topics of interest, and it is the only conservative radio program in the morning in the local market in Pensacola. So we'd love to have you listen as well. 103.7 WPNN. The name of the show is The Wake Up Call. Check it out. And our bumper music's always heavy metal, always hard rock. Yeah. How is she going to get up in the morning, Blair? How is she going to get up? Great to meet you guys.
Good to meet you, Jim.
thank you.